Good morning, dear students. So in the last class we have discussed regarding some of the basic concepts of morphology of flowering plants. So in the today's class we are going to discuss some of the basic important definitions or the concept involved in animal kingdom. So animal kingdom is one of the important chapter in the first PUC. So in today's class we are going to discuss with the basic terms whatever we are using in this concept, that is in this chapter, so that we are going to discuss one by one. So now in animal kingdom, so according to the research, there are different kingdoms have been evolved: 2 kingdom, 3 kingdom, 4 and 5. So presently we are having a 5 kingdom of classification. So in the 5 kingdom of classification, animal kingdom is one of the kingdom. So in this kingdom, animal kingdom, so we are going to that animal kingdom, it is mainly classified mainly into 2 broad categories. One is chordates and non-chordates. So non-chordates, they are also termed as invertebrates. Whereas chordates, in the chordate it is a main phylum chordate which has another subphylum called as vertebrata. So they are commonly called as vertebrates, chordates, or it is also called as vertebrates. So now in today's class we are going to study the basic terms of which is used in both chordates and non-chordates. Now the non-chordates, again it is divided into number of phylums. So in the phylum we are going to study with the general characteristic feature of the respective phylum with an example. So there is no any classification is not involved in your syllabus, only we are going to study with the salient features or the general characteristic feature of the respective phylum with some of the examples. So now, so when we start with the phylum, there are some of the common the salient features what we are going to study in majority of all the phylums. So in that, one is body symmetry. So what is symmetry? The symmetry is a word. Now let us consider this as an organism. Let us assume this as an organism. Now in this organism, the organism it is made up of several body parts. The mode of arrangement of body parts in the organism. Now one organism is there, ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಪ್ಯಾಟ್ರನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದೇ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ದ ಮೋಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಬಾಡಿ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಸಿಮೆಟ್ರಿ. Now here the body symmetry, there are 2 types. One is radial symmetry, bilateral symmetry, and third one is asymmetrical or asymmetry. There are 3 types in the body symmetry. One is radial symmetry, and another one is bilateral symmetry, and last one is asymmetry. In case of radial symmetry, now what is radius? When you take up one circle from central point to the circumference, this is referred as radius. So now what is this radial symmetry? Means the body parts are arranged around the central axis. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅದರ ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸು ಈ ಥರ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಲೈನ್, ಈ ಥರ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಯಾವುದೇ ಶೇಪ್ ಇರಲಿ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್, ಐದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಶೇಪ್ ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಶೇಪ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್, ವಿಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಒನ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಲೈನ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನರಿ. Central line or central point is a imaginary. When we take a central line or central point, the body parts are arranged around the central axis or are arranged along the central point. That type of symmetry is called as radial symmetry. So what is radial symmetry? It is a arrangement of body parts. It is a arrangement of body parts around the central axis or around the central point. That is called as radial symmetry. Now next, there is another one word called as bilateral. So what is this bilateral? See, wherever you come the word with the lateral in biology, the lateral word refers to sides anta. Sides ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನಂತೀವಿ lateral. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So here, but in case of bilateral symmetry, how the body parts are arranged in the organism means the body parts, the same, the arrangement of body parts along the central axis or along the central point. See, either you can use the word axis or you can use the word point, which is nothing but one and the same. What is the central axis? What is the central point? Means it is an imaginary. Now let us consider this as an organism. In this organism, if it is imaginary, we have to imagine where is the central point or central line. Means we can assume, yes, this is a central point or central, or if I draw a line, so this is a central line. So in this organism, if it is a bilateral symmetric, means the body parts will be arranged on the either side. Akade ikkade arrange agirutte. Yavado in case of bilateral. In case of radial ankoli. Now let us consider radial symmetry. Now this is an organism. Let us consider a central point or central line. How here the body parts are arranged means it is arranged around the central axis or around the central line. Understood? So hence, in case of radial symmetry, the body parts are arranged around the central axis, whereas in bilateral symmetry, the body parts are arranged along the central axis. Now what is asymmetry? A refers to absent. So here there is no definite symmetry, or the body parts are not arranged in a particular way. So it is called as the symmetry here is absent, or also you can say the body parts are not definitely arranged. There is no definite arrangement of body parts. There is no definite arrangement of body parts where in case of asymmetry type. So heng beko hange irregular ag body parts scatter agirutte elli asymmetrical type of organism. Whereas the organism, if I say it is a bilaterally symmetrical, means the body parts they are arranged on the either side of the central axis. Next, radially symmetrical organism antandre the body parts are arranged around the central axis. So now this radial symmetry, now I said the body parts are arranged around the central axis. Ee tara arrange agide. Now if I cut the organism in any plane passing through the central axis, we get a two equal halves. Yavrali radial symmetry. Whereas in bilateral symmetry, central line body parts akkade arrange agirutte. For the bilateral symmetrical organism, we have to cut the organism only in one plane. If I cut only in this plane, we get two equal half mirror images. If I cut in this way, we won't get the image. We won't get the two equal halves. Equal halves andre eno body parts exact agi sigalla anta. So hence, in case of radial symmetry, understood, we get the two equal halves, whereas in any plane if we cut the organism. Whereas in case of bilateral symmetry, we get two equal halves only if we cut the organism in a single plane. So this is about the symmetry. The symmetry, it is a arrangement of body parts within the organism. So based on this, the organisms, they are classified into radially symmetrical, bilaterally symmetrical and asymmetrical. So in case of radially symmetrical, very important, the body parts are arranged around the central axis, and if we cut the organism passing through the central line in any plane, we get a 2 equal halves. Whereas in case of bilaterally symmetrical, the body parts, they are arranged on the either side or on the either side of the central line or central axis. So here we can cut the organism in one plane to get a 2 equal halves. Next, asymmetrical, the arrangement of body parts, here it is not proper, or there is no definite arrangement of the body parts. So that is about the symmetry. And next, there are another 2 words. So for the symmetry, I will give an example. We human body, so ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, is it we are radially symmetry or bilaterally symmetry? Means we are bilaterally symmetrical animals. Means so our body, ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ, if we take an imaginary one central line of our body, ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. So we all are bilaterally symmetrical. Whereas the example of starfish, it is radially symmetrical animal. So henge radially symmetrical antandre, so passing through the central line itkondu ನೀವು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, we will mainly get the 2 equal halves in any plane. I'll write it. Passing through the central line, if we cut the organism, see, if we cut the organism, we will get a 2 equal half, that is mirror image of each other. So central line is very important. Understood? It has to cross. If I cut from here, then we won't get 2 equal halves. Passing through the central line or central axis is very important. So that is a radial symmetry. Now, as we have discussed the word lateral, there are another 2 words, dorsal, ventral and lateral. So dorsal surface is the upper part or upper surface of the body. Dorsal anta elle bird bandrunu enadu upper part, that is called as dorsal. Whereas the ventral is the lower part, or you can also say lower surface of the body. Lateral, as I have already discussed, it is the sides of the body. Body sides ige ನಾವು lateral ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನಾವು let us consider this as an organism. ಇದೇ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಈ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಇಂದು ಈ ಮೇಲ್ಭಾಗ ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಾರ್ಸಲ್, ಈ ಕೆಳಭಾಗದ್ದು ಲೋಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆಂಟ್ರಲ್, ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದು ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಾರ್ಸಲ್, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಾರ್ಸಲ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್. ಈ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ದು ಏನು ಫೇಸ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆಂಟ್ರಲ್. ಸೈಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು, ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್. So make sure with this 3 words, dorsal, ventral, lateral. ಈಗ let us take an example of cockroach. ಕಾಕ್ರೋಚ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಥರ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಕಾಕ್ರೋಚಿನ ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಕಾಣತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಾರ್ಸಲ್. ಆ ಕಾಕ್ರೋಚ್ ಉಲ್ಟಾ ಆದಾಗ ಕಾಣತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏನು ವೆಂಟ್ರಲ್. ಆ ಕಾಕ್ರೋಚಿನ ಸೈಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ರಲ್. ಸೊ ಮೇಕ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ 3 words, dorsal, ventral and lateral. Next is body wall. So what is this body wall ಅಂತಂದರೆ when the organism, when the gametes are fused, it results in a formation of, when the gametes are fused, it results in a formation of zygote. Zygote is a single cell. The gametes are also single cells. The nuclei of the gametes are fused to form a single cell, zygote. Zygote is single cell. Now this zygote, it will undergo repeated division. Number of times repeated agi divide agate. It will undergo repeated division to form the mass of cells. One cell iddidu number of cells agi convert agate. One cell, it is divided to form numerous cells. Now whatever these cells are there, now these cells, they are arranged. If it is arranged in two layers, outer layer and inner layer, erad layer all arranged. This is inner layer and this one is outer layer. That type of organisms are called as diploplastic. Whereas if the organism, the cells are arranged in three layers, then this is termed as triploblastic. This is referred as diploblastic. Means it is during the process of development of an organism in the mother womb. So when the organism is developing, understood, either the organism may develop from the two germ layers anta heltivi. What it is called as two germ layers. If the germ layers is of inner endoderm and outer ectoderm, then the organism is referred as diploblastic. If the germ layers are three types or the organism is arise from three types, then it is called as triploblastic. So now I'll write the diagram. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಎರಡೇ ಜರ್ಮ್ ಲೇಯರಿಂದ ಹುಟ್ಟಿತು. ಜರ್ಮ್ ಲೇಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಝೈಗೋಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಝೈಗೋಟ್ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡಾಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನ್ಯೂಮರಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಸೆಲ್ಸು ಎರಡು ಲೇಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆದರೆ, ಟೂ ಲೇಯರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆದರೆ, ಆ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಟೂ ಲೇಯರ್ಸಿಂದನೇ ಒಂದು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ನ್ಯೂ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೂ ಜರ್ಮ್ ಲೇಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಎರಡು ಲೇಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಸೆಲ್ಸಿಂದನೇ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅರೈಸ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಥರ ಎರಡು ಜರ್ಮ್ ಲೇಯರ್ಸಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆದರೆ ಅಂಥ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸಿಗೆ ವಿಲ್ ಕಾಲ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆಸ್ ಡಿಪ್ಲೋಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್. If the organism is arise from two germ layers, they are called as diploblastic. Next, if the organism are arised from three germ layers, then ಯಾವುದೋ ತ್ರೀ ಲೇಯರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ತ್ರೀ ಜರ್ಮ್ ಲೇಯರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು, ನಾವು ದಿಸ್ ತ್ರೀ ಜರ್ಮ್ ಲೇಯರ್ಸ್ it give rise to the different body parts, or it develops into different body parts to form one new individual. This type, if the organism individual is developed from three germ layers, that type of organism is called as triploblastic. That type of organism is called as triploblastic. Now if two germ layers anta helde, what are the two germ layers? Means the outer layer is called as ectoderm and the inner layer is called as endoderm. Outer ectoderm, innondu inner endoderm. In between the outer ectoderm and endoderm, there is one fluid like tissue, semi fluid tissue will be present in the diploblastic. This is called as Mesoglia. Adanenantivi Mesoglia. It is not a complete tissue. Cells, group of cells in one tissue alladu. It is a semi-fluid structure. We can term it as tissue also, mesoglial tissue, but it is not a derm layer. Understood? So outer ectoderm, inner this layer, inner endoderm. In between that we can see a fluid tissue called as mesoglia. Whereas in the developed organisms, they are triploblastic. What are the triploblastic layers antandre? The same. The inner layer is called as endoderm, middle layer is called as mesoderm, and the outer layer is called as ectoderm. 3 germ layers: outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm. Now these 3 germ layers, outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm, give rise to a new individual, or which develops into different parts of a body and give rise to a new individual. They are called as triploblastic. Understood? So the organism diploblastic means 2 germ layers, outer ectoderm, inner endoderm. In between that we can see a mesoglial tissue, whereas here we can see 3 differentiated germ layers. These 3 germ layers, it give rise to the different parts of a body: outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm. Andre illiruvanta cells one part of the body agi develop agutte. Illiruvanta cells it give rise to the different parts of a body. In the same way ectodermal alliruvanta cells kuda it give rise to different parts of a body. So hence the organism, based on their germ layers, they are classified into diploblastic and triploblastic. Now next, so when we'll start with the phylum, if I say this phylum, they exhibit a triploblastic organism, they are triploblastic means you have to remember this definition. What definition? Yes, triploblastic means this organisms which belongs to our respective phylum has arised from 3 germ layers. Understood? So for that itself I am discussing some of the basic terminologies used in this chapter. Next, organization. So in organization there are different types of organization. One is cellular grade of organization, tissue grade of organization, next organ grade of organization, fourth one is organ system grade of organization. Cellular grade of organization, tissue grade, organ grade, organ system grade of organization. So different phylums have a different types of organization. So cellular grade of organization means, now let us consider there is one phylum. Understood? Now in this phylum, the organism, it is made up of numerous cells. Number of cells are there, but the different cells, they perform a different function. All the cells are not involved in a particular function here. The different cells, they are performing a different function. So hence it exhibits number of cells are there, but there is no formation of tissue. That is very important. There is no formation of tissue. Instead of the formation of tissue, some of the cells, they are involved in a particular function, or you can say different cells are involved in different function. That type of organization is called as cellular grade of organization. So cellular grade of organization is an organization where there is multicellular organism. They are not unicellular, they are multicellular organization, or the organism, it is made up of multicellular, but there is no formation of tissue in this organism. Tissue formation iralla. Number of cells irutte, but there is no formation of tissue. Hence, different cells are involved in different function. So that is called as cellular grade of organization. Next, what is this tissue grade of organization means? So same, the organism is there. It is made up of different types of tissues. Here it was cells, but here it is made up of different or various types of tissues are there, but there is no organ development, there is no organ formation. Different tissues are there. The tissue in turn, it is made up of numerous cells. Different types of tissues are there, and each tissue it performs a different functions. So hence there is a number of or several tissues are there, but there is no formation of organ, where in tissue grade of organization. Next, organ grade of organization means the organism consists of several organs. Several organs are there, but there is no organ system. I have already discussed organ system. It is a system which is correlated with a number of organs to form one system. Understood? So, now let us take an example of nervous system anta tagondre. Nervous system alli brain, spinal cord, nerves barta hogatte. So brain is one of the organs, spinal cord is another part. Both the system together they perform one function, they are involved in one particular function. So hence that is called as organ system. In the same way, here also, in case of organ grade of organization, the organism consists of organs, but there is no formation of organ system. Next, higher developed organisms, we can see a organ system grade of organization. In organ system grade of organization, what happens means there is a well developed organ system such as respiratory system, digestive system, nervous system, excretory system. So there is a development of organ system. So what is this organ system means? Several related organs together it performs one, or it is involved in performing one particular function of the body to form one organ system. Best example is digestive system, circulatory system, nervous system, excretory system, etc. So that is about the organization. So in the lower phylums we can see the cellular grade of organization. Next, in the phylum we can see in the first phylum we can see the tissue grade of organization, where there is only development of tissue but there is no formation of organ. So that is tissue grade of organization. When it comes to the organ grade of organization, in case of organ grade of organization, there is a development of organs but there is no development of organ system. So based on the type of the organization, again the phylums are classified. Now this is about the organization. Next is digestive system. So digestive system, when we move for the phylums after Platyhelminthes or from the Platyhelminthes itself, or even in Coelenterate also, there is a development of digestive system. So in digestive system we are going to use the two words. One is open and the another one is closed. Closed, open type, complete and incomplete. Complete and incomplete. Open and closed type we are going to study in circulatory system. Understood? Digestive system it is complete and incomplete, whereas in circulatory system it is open and closed. So this circulatory system we will discuss later. First we will take up with the digestive system. So in digestive system it is complete and incomplete type. Two types are there, complete type or it is incomplete type. So what is this digestive system? So the digestion system, it begins or it starts from mouth and it ends with anus. So there are two openings. One is